All right, everyone. I am live. I um I normally show the background first and then boom, put my picture up, but I accidentally put my picture up to make sure I was level and didn't show you the background. Let me show you the background because the content I'm going to present today is going to in large part involve this particular organ. So now you see me, now you don't. So we're going to talk a lot about the liver in the next hour. I want to keep this about an hour. Let me make an announcement over on my original Big Discussions 76 channel. Thank you to whoever you are watching me. If you feel so inclined, please shout yourself out in the chat. Please like the stream. Let's see. Go to my original channel, which is my largest antenna. All right, we are live. Okay, just bear with me for a few minutes here. Give that a like. Oh, the likes are coming in. Let's see. All right, we're gonna hang out in the human health space today, and I'm gonna. Well, you know that someone prominent died. I'm gonna say some words about that. I'm going to discuss what's happening with the current world event, which every week I ask the question, are we still in this thing or are we out of it? And then a couple of weeks ago, someone asked me about hepatitis. So I'm going to read some things on hepatitis. Let me go back to the original, not the original, the Big Discussion 76 Science and Technology channel. Let me go back there so I can watch the data come in real time. All right, there we go. All right, guys, I'm going to play the intro and I'll see you on the other side and then I'll jump in. I don't have a super chat over here. So if you feel so inclined to make a donation, my Cash App and PayPal are there. So I'll see you guys on the other side of the intro. And hopefully we can all learn something today. All right. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76, Science and Technology. First of all, please like this stream, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. I want to thank Aquateki for the generous Cash App. I appreciate that. I know that, well, being a YouTube content creator, it's an ongoing process. You learn as you go along, and one aspect is consistency. So you have to continue to be consistent, but also you have to know your audience. And I know that science and technology related topics, though, that's for a select group. So this is only going to touch a select group, and only a select group is going to be able to kind of comprehend and understand what's being discussed here. Before I jump in, there are three main things I want to hit today. Please consider joining my newsletter. In addition, let me slow down. In addition to being a YouTube content creator, I'm also a writer. There's a greeting there, a 2-paragraph greeting, and then that subscription button is there at the bottom. So please consider doing that. So I appreciate you guys being here. I was just watching Edward. Most of you know who Edward is, but it's hard to turn away from his passionate streams and rants, but I want to get this one done early. So let's talk about the world event. Is the world event still going on? And those of you who have watched me know that I'm speaking in code for something else. My channel was removed at one point. I think it was in 2021 it was removed. YouTube was gracious enough to put it back up, but certain things are being policed closely. So is it still going on? At my 9 to 5, we've entered into a hybrid model where we have to, we're encouraged to go into the office twice during our 2-week pay period. So that could be once a week, or it could be, you could double up 2 days in a week and then go every other week. But when I get on the metro here in DC, I still see people wearing face coverings. When I get on the metro, I'm wearing a face covering. So is it still going on? It's not being talked about a lot. There's a lot of things in the news going on. In the mainstream news, in the YouTube streets, there was a big story that hit all of us at the end of this week. I'm going to touch upon that a little bit. The science of it, the science that people are speculating about in terms of what happened to this individual. But there's a lot of news. And is this thing still going on? We have a war on the other side of the world, inflation, we're probably in a recession, interest rates are going up. You have this thing going on with the Supreme Court and Roe versus Wade. There's just so much news. Is the world event still going on? Well, let's see a report, an article that I saw from Yahoo News. So just bear with me. And if you're just coming in, please hit the like button. If you have any comments on what I'm saying and reading here, please leave those in the chat. I like to make these as interactive as possible. Okay, that's the wrong link. So I'm going to stop sharing that one. I'm going to close that because it's just causing confusion. Yeah, I wanted to get this stream done early so I could relax the rest of the day. I need to get out to the gym and move my muscles a little bit. So this says, again, guys, even though you see specific words on the screen, I'm speaking in code and I'm talking around certain words. And this link is below. CDC investigating, darn it, that's the wrong one. Okay. Hepatitis Guys, give me a second. Okay. The internet is playing games with me here. Okay. Okay, here we go. And what we know is that just because the mainstream news is not talking about it, that doesn't mean it's not relevant. That doesn't mean that whatever it is not still going on. They're just not talking about it. So this is entitled, "Is the US Really Out of the P Phase of the World Event?" And this was published on Monday. Okay. Dr. Anthony Fauci said last week that the United States is out of the P phase of the world event. "We are at a low level right now," he told Judy Woodruff on PBS NewsHour. So if you're saying, are we out of the P phase in this country? We are. Okay. Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease expert, clarified his comments the following day in an interview with the Washington Post. Some refer to it as the Washington Compost. I get a subscription every Sunday, saying that he meant the U.S. is out of the full-blown explosive P phase and currently in a transitional phase that will hopefully lead to a point where the country has a reasonable amount of control over the contagion. The comments came as the United States grapples with the policy approach to this phase of the P. Various states, cities, and private businesses are implementing very different policies on face coverings and immunization mandates, sparking confusion for many people trying to follow the rules. Okay. At the moment, the United States is recording about 50,000 contagion cases and roughly 300 deaths per day. Those figures represent a major drop off from the peak of the O wave in mid-January, where 800,000 new cases and about 250,000 deaths were counted each day. There has been a slight uptick in case counts in recent weeks, driven by the highly contagious BA2 variation of O, but the increase is nothing like the massive spikes that were seen at the beginning of earlier waves. So why there's debate. Fauci's statements prompted mixed reactions from health experts and media commentators. Supporters of his views say that while the contagion won't likely ever go away completely, there's ample reason to believe the country has moved past the cycle of severe contagion waves that have occurred periodically since the start of the P. They argue that Americans have enough immunity from immunizations and previous contaminations that the dangers of severe infections are drastically lower than they were just a few months ago. But critics say it's dangerous for high-profile health officials to send the message that the United States is through the worst part of the P when the contagion has proved to be so unpredictable over the past 2 years. They worried that a scaled-back contagion response could leave the country unprepared to manage future case surges, especially if a dangerous new variant emerges. Others take issue with any suggestion that the United States should return to a pre-P normal while hundreds of people are still dying daily. What's next? The Biden administration is pressing Congress to approve billions of dollars in additional funding for immunizations, testing and contagion treatments. A $10 bipartisan bill has been stuck in limbo for the past few weeks over a dispute surrounding Biden's decision to repeal a P-era policy barring asylum seekers at the border. Let me take a sip of my hydro here. AB Media entered the building. Akoteki says, I'm still rocking my N95 anytime I'm away from home. AB Media passed through. He says, salute at Big Discussion 76 Science and Technology. Thank you for stopping through, AB Media. Thank you for those of you who are still here. The United States is in a much better place, but still needs to be wary. For a P wary public, there are cautions to be heeded. No one knows when or whether another variation of the contagion will emerge, either more transmissible or more severe. It could still happen elsewhere in the world. The P is hardly over. China is battling a major outbreak. Many poor countries are yet to be immunized. The acute phase might be easing in the United States, but a contagion has not vanished. Okay. The contagion is too unpredictable for us to know what to expect in the future. The contagion has surprised us again and again. We should be wary of declaration of victory too soon. Let's see. For many Americans, the P phase has been over for a long time. In any event, Fauci may be late to the party anyway. People all over the world, including here in the United States, have decided for themselves that we are no longer in P mode when it comes to the contagion. Part of the reason is that people are just done living in the P world, but it also has to do with the fact that cities and counties everywhere have relaxed their P strictures. The state of the P might be much worse than official data suggests. In recent months, testing practices have changed across the country as at-home tests have gone fully mainstream. These tests, however, don't usually get recorded in official case counts. This means our data could be missing a whole lot of infections across the country, enough to obscure a large surge. Okay, I'm going to see how much longer this is. Okay. Okay, there are just 2 to 3 more paragraphs here. I'll power through. Another deadly C wave is still very possible. I feel it's possible we could see a new variant of concern rip across Texas and the United States, southern states this summer, just as we did in 2020 and 2021. The reasons are too few immunized in this part of the country. 2, immunity from the O is not durable. Okay, says Peter Hoots, a vaccines immunization specialist. We shouldn't be celebrating a situation with hundreds of people in which hundreds of people are dying every day. People have absorbed their personal risk calculations and simply decided that they will return to more so-called normal life, even if the contagion continues to claim lives. We seem as a society to have become resigned to the contagion, accepting a certain level of sickness and death as the new normal. That's from Charles M. Blow. I don't think he's a healthcare professional. Debates over vocabulary take the focus away from what we actually need to do to protect people. Instead of debating terminology like the P or the endemic or full-blown or controlled, we need to focus on promoting immunization and other actions we know will help control the spread of the contagion. That includes communicating honestly about what we do and don't know and telling Americans what they need to know in language they can understand. That's from Brian Castrucci and Beth S. Linus. And finally, overly optimistic rhetoric could undercut lawmakers' commitment to fighting the contagion as cases continue mounting around the globe. The P shows no signs of ending yet, and conflicting pictures offered by top health officials may hamper the renewal of critical C funds and efforts like immunization campaigns. Okay, this article is below in the description box in case anyone wants to read it and bookmark it for yourselves. Okay, my numbers are up. Please hit the like button. If you have any, okay, let me see if I'm still broadcasting to YouTube. Yep. Okay, still there. Still there. It's quite a thing when your stream gets taken down in the middle of it and you don't know until you start getting an error message. And then YouTube sends you this quick email saying, sorry, we removed your stream and we removed your channel. You were talking about something that violated guidelines. Engineering Cannabis has entered the building. Engineering Cannabis says, look at the CDC data. Lots of data is still needed to know the cluster cases and also predict growth cases. You know, what's interesting? I think with what we're hearing about what's happening in China and with what we're hearing about what's happening in South Africa, if things are indeed dying down here, are our elected officials going to restrict travel from those areas? I hope the answer is yes, because if they let those people keep coming, then things could just ramp up again over here. Okay. By the way, Engineering Cannabis, I was listening to our my live stream on Twitter and the Twitter algorithm, and I think our discussion about the algorithms being biased and the algorithms being given biased data, I think that's worth me clipping off and re-uploading as a short. So that's look out for that. That's very fascinating to me. So, okay, but in this stream, we're in the human health space. So that's that. So a lot of you know, let's talk about some pharmacology and toxicology. So for this next section, we're going to talk about Red Bull. We're going to talk about what's in Red Bull, and we're just going to speculate or just briefly talk about the speculation as to how and why the prominent content creator passed away this week. I mean, I don't think the official toxicology report has been released. That probably won't be released for a while, but there's a lot of speculation. We know that the image guy passed away due to heart failure or a heart attack. But then the question is how that might have happened. So we're just going to talk a little bit about the science of it. So we're going to do a little bit of we're going to delve a little bit into, well, if you want to know more about pharmacology, okay, I'm going to leave this link in the description box below. It's already there. I'll drop the link in the chat right now. But how and why the image guy might have passed away, this is going to involve a discussion of pharmacology and toxicology, right? So I'm going to drop this link here in case anyone wants to read it. I wrote this years ago to be understandable by the general public. I'm a writer / YouTube content creator. So pharmacology deals with the therapeutic effects of molecules, drugs, natural products, and oftentimes products derived from plants or animals in some instances, and in some instances, artificially synthesized molecules. Toxicology. Toxicology is the sister science of pharmacology. Toxicology deals with the harmful effects of chemicals when they get into living systems. And those could be drugs. Those could be if you drink too much water. Too much water will kill you. Too much sugar will kill you. Too much of an industrial chemical will kill you. Too much of anything will kill you. So that's what you need to know about pharmacology and toxicology. One deals with the therapeutic effect, the therapeutic effects of drugs. The other one deals with the harmful effects of compounds in general. I'm going to drop this link in the chat. YouTube, this is for teaching purposes only. This is for teaching purposes only. Okay, so that's there in case anyone wants to read that. So, I'm going to minimize this. One of the speculations that's coming out about how and why the image guy passed away is the overconsumption of Red Bull. Um, Over on my original channel, I dropped a reflection on Dr. T. How you doing? Over on my original channel, I dropped a my own reflection about the image guy and my own thoughts about his passing. And I commented that I hadn't watched regularly lately, but there was a stretch when I was, and that show, when it hit its stride and when it hit its peak, that helped get me through the early stages of the pandemic, because I would tune into that late at night before going to bed, and sometimes the show would keep me up. It was that entertaining and it was that fascinating and compelling. The image guy and his guests and who would call in and the things they would talk about. But he would go on late at night. I mean, his show wouldn't start sometimes until 10:30, 11 o'clock, and then the show would go past midnight. And there was a point in which he would do his show on YouTube on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then he would do them on Instagram on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but they'd be late at night. And so if you watched the show, you would notice that he wasn't drinking alcohol, but he was drinking not a bottle, but a can. He'd open up a can of Red Bull and he'd pour it in his glass. It had a brown look to it, like cognac or brandy. And during his show, you see the thing spinning around on his desk. You see the lights in the background. He'd have a suit on. He'd be sitting there taking his calls or whatever. And you'd see him consuming Red Bull, lots and lots of Red Bull. So murmurings are coming out about the fact that this mass consumption of Red Bull might have led to his should I call it a myocardial infarction? I think a myocardial infarction is when some of the muscle tissue on the heart dies. That stresses the heart and the heart fails. I don't think this was a myocardial infarction. In any case, the speculation is that the mass amounts of Red Bull that he consumed may have led to what happened. So I did a brief search on this online. And one of the reasons people consume Red Bull is because it gives you that boost. It keeps you alert. I've never drank Red Bull. Maybe you guys in the chat, maybe you could tell me if you've consumed Red Bull. I know some people swear by it. I've never tried it. But on their site, what this says is, I'm just going to read this one. People drink it for the caffeine. You know, caffeine, you drink coffee for the caffeine to keep you up, to keep you alert, especially early in the morning. If you're a truck driver, you're driving overnight. If you're a pilot, you want to stay alert as you're flying the plane. So you drink it for the caffeine. And according to the Red Bull site, I'm just going to read this. This is very brief. Caffeine is naturally present in more than 600 plants and is contained in many food sources such as coffee, tea, and chocolate. Whether present in natural sources or in Red Bull energy drink, your body processes caffeine the same way. One of caffeine's primary actions in the human body is a stimulating effect on cognitive functions. One 8.4 full ounce can of Red Bull energy drink contains 80 milligrams of caffeine. So here it says, did you know the 80 milligrams of caffeine contained in one 8.4 full ounce can of Red Bull energy drink is about the same amount as in a cup of coffee. So in one Red Bull, there's 80 milligrams. 80 milligrams. And then in a cup of home brewed coffee, there's 95 milligrams. I never knew that. I'm a coffee drinker in the morning. I need to figure out how to weave in more tea because I think all the caffeine isn't good for you. Some of the other constituents or ingredients in Red Bull, group B vitamins. I'm not going to read all this. Sugars, taurine. I'm not familiar with taurine. Taurine is an amino acid naturally occurring in the human body and present in the daily diet. It is involved in a wide range of biological processes. Taurine is found in high concentrations in muscle, brain, heart, and blood. A person weighing roughly 154 pounds has approximately 70 grams of taurine distributed throughout their body. Put another way, a 154-pound person naturally already has in their body 70 times the amount of taurine contained in one can of Red Bull energy drink. Okay, so what this is telling me is that we already have enough of this taurine in our bodies. So if you are consuming the Red Bull, you're getting a super dose of this taurine. Okay. I just learned something. I hope you guys are too. Let's see. The human body contains 70 times more taurine than one 8.4 full ounce can of Red Bull. So whoever drinks Red Bull is going to get a super dose of taurine. I see lots of folks are rolling through. Salchi, thanks for coming through. Shonda, Art New Style TV. Once again, Dr. Tia San Johnson, thank you for stopping through. Water. Okay, so these are all things that are in Red Bull. And I'm highlighting this, and I am talking about this because it's being speculated. Again, speculation. There's no proof at this point that part of what may have caused Kevin's heart issues was his mass consumption of this Red Bull. So as a pharmacologist, toxicologist, I'm seeing that you're getting with one can of this stuff, and I've never tried this stuff. You're getting a nice dose. You're getting a dose of caffeine equivalent to a cup of coffee in the morning. And then you're getting a very high dose. You're getting a dose of this taurine on top of the amount that your body already produces. So I'm going to have to do more research on this taurine. So I went to another website, okay, which there's a society which is dedicated to, well, I'll show it to you guys. Yeah, I found this. This is the Taylor Hooten Foundation. This link is below. And they had let's just go take a look at this. Who we are. So you guys know the context. Okay. The Taylor Hooten Foundation was formed in 2004 in memory of Taylor E. Hooten, a 17-year-old high school student from Plano, Texas. Taylor took his own life as a result of using anabolic steroids. Today, the Taylor Hooten Foundation is the leader in educating youth and adult influencers on the dangers of anabolic steroids, human growth hormone, dietary supplements, and other appearance and performance enhancing substances. So that's who this website was created by. So they have a tab here on energy drinks. Okay. If you haven't, please hit the like button. If you guys want to make a donation, my Cash App and PayPal are there in the chat. I'll copy paste them one more time. And again, guys, this is speculation, but there's a science piece to this story as well, because we know that Kevin reports are that he suffered a heart attack. They'll have to do the autopsy. They'll have to do a tox report. And that information probably won't come out for a while. So An energy drink is a type of drink that contains stimulant compounds, usually caffeine, which is marketed as providing mental and physical stimulation. They may or may not be carbonated and may also contain sweeteners, herbal extracts, taurine, and or amino acids. An energy drink sold as a food is no safer than an energy drink sold as a supplement and vice versa. Both can contain large amounts of caffeine plus additional stimulants and ingredients that can be harmful, and many of these products evade labeling laws, which is why it can be difficult to know exactly what is in an energy drink. Globally, energy drinks are typically attractive to young people. In one study, 20% of respondents between the ages of 21 and 30 had used energy drinks in high school or college to stay awake longer to study or to write a paper. And 70% of respondents knew someone who would use an energy drink to stay awake longer to study or work. So, again, we know that during his shows, Kevin was regularly consuming the Red Bull. So consuming energy drinks can be risky. There's no legal limit to the amount of caffeine companies can put into energy drinks, and it's been found that some contain up to 6 times as much caffeine as sodas. It's important to recognize that the effects of caffeine are dose dependent. The higher the dose, the more likely you are to get jitters, insomnia, irregular heartbeats, sweating, nervousness, or seizures. A typical energy drink with 100 to 200 milligrams of caffeine is not the major concern. The concern lies with products that contain high levels of caffeine and multiple stimulants. Many products are combining caffeine with stimulants such as uh, guarana seed, yohimbe, and yerba mate. Some drinks also contain synerfine, which is on the banned substance list for many professional sporting agencies, such as the NCAA. Combining high levels of caffeine with other stimulants may cause an electrical disturbance, causing life threatening arrhythmia, heart palpitations. As we've seen in several cases in teens and adults, it could potentially lead to cardiac arrest and eventually death. In 2011, there were 20,783 reported emergency room visits in which an energy drink was cited as the primary cause for a contributing factor to a health problem, compared with 10,068 in 2007. New research shows that consuming just one energy drink can affect blood vessel function. By combining a well-balanced diet with adequate sleep and regular exercise or training, your body will not require or desire the need for an energy drink. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say about that. Let's see. Mike Rizzi says, love your thoughts on TRT2. I'll tell you what, a gentleman named James, he watches from the clouds, and he was messaging me on Instagram last night, and he said that Kevin was also taking a hormone, a testosterone replacement treatments. So I don't know that. I can't back that up. But apparently, a side effect of testosterone replacement therapy is effect on cardiovascular function. So there are a few variables here as to what might have happened. But I'm sharing all this to say that I'm sharing all this to share that, after someone dies, there's lots of speculation. Was it a setup? Was it a conspiracy? Was it just old age? Of course, by today's standards, he was still considered to be young. And then also, was it something in his everyday diet or something that was a part of his routine that contributed to what happened? Shonda, you're a nurse. If you have something to say there about this, please feel free to sound off. Salchi says, Engineering Cannabis says, there is a correlation of energy drinks and heart muscles contracting and ceasing with continuous use. Salchi says, I consumed a sip my freshman year in college. I haven't consumed Red Bull since. I consume black coffee instead. Yeah, I don't know a lot about taurine. It's according to what I read, that's an amino acid derivative, but it's according to what I read, our bodies already produce that. So if you're drinking more on top of that, you're getting some sort of overload, in my scientific opinion. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, Mike Rizzi says he promoted testosterone replacement theory. Okay. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. Since this is a science stream, I'm just going to show something for those of you who don't know. You guys have probably seen this already. This might be review for you all, but that's caffeine right there. That's the chemical structure of it. It's naturally derived from the, I believe it's the Arabica bean. The Arabica bean. That's the bean that's the coffee bean. And in terms of the pharmacodynamics of caffeine, it works through the adenosine receptor right there, which is in our central nervous system. It binds to, it looks like there are two subtypes of the adenosine receptor, the A1, the A2, which binds this D1 and D2, and the downstream participants are cyclic dinucleotides and protein kinase alpha and MAP kinase and CREB. This is all signal transduction, but this is a science stream. We're talking about caffeine, so I thought I'd show some of the biochemistry of this. I see some new folks coming in. Please hit the like button. If you want to make a donation to the channel, my Cash App and PayPal are there. Shonda says, and Shonda's from the healthcare sector, she says, oh, wow, if that's the case, that can be a contributing factor to going into cardiac arrest, high energy drink consumption, and HRT. I'm reserving my conclusions until the autopsy and toxicology report is done. Yeah, same here. This is, breaking news, and people are speculating as they usually do with these things. She says hormone replacement therapy, which includes a form of testosterone, either systemic hormones or biological hormones. Okay. And I think I was listening to Art Newstall was there in the chat. He had a nice stream dedicated to the image guy last night. And it's well known that he was a cancer survivor, and he had gone through chemo treatments. So apparently, and I'm not a cancer biologist. I don't have a background in cancer pharmacology, but from what was said, there are potential long-term toxicities associated with chemo, even after your cancer has gone into remission. So a number of variables up in the air as it relates to this. So does anyone have any questions or comments on this part of it? The last thing I'm going to read here is going to deal with hepatitis, because someone asked me about that a couple of weeks ago, and there seems to be a hepatitis wave going around in young children. But before we stop with this, let me know if there are any questions or comments there in the chat. When I finish reading about hepatitis, I'll drop the link in case anyone wants to come up and say something about anything I've talked about um, thus far. So if there are any comments or questions right now, I'll take a quick pause and then I'll talk a little bit about hepatitis. And then I will conclude. Let's see. Nope, that's not the link I want to show. Okay. All right, here we go. It might have been Isata, it might have been Charwilly, but someone asked me about hepatitis a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to rehydrate here. Okay, hepatitis. So I'm going to read this article, and then I found another tab at the Mayo Clinic, I believe it is, Healthline, which has an extensive discussion of what hepatitis is. It's not very dense reading. I'll read through a little bit of it, but so the backdrop for this, and I'm sure Shonda knows this by heart if she's in the nursing sector. A little bit of quick liver physiology, pharmacology, and toxicology. Where's my liver? There it is. So most of you know that you have a liver sitting inside your belly, but I don't think the average American really understands what exactly the liver does. And the answer is that it does a ton of things. And depending upon the scientist you talk to, um, depending upon the specialist that you talk to, they may make the argument that their organ is the most important. Some scientists would say the liver is the most important organ in the body. Uh, Kidney specialists would say that the kidneys are the most important organs in the body. Cardiologists would say that the heart is the most important organ in the body. I think the truth is that we need all of them. And if something goes wrong, then you stand to get very, very sick. And you may need a transplant. Last week I did a stream on kidney transplants and kidney donations. If any one of these organs go, you're in trouble, I'm in trouble. So what does, I have a comment here. What does the liver do? I'm going to be very, very brief here. Well, as a pharmacologist and a toxicologist, for me, the liver has a very specific significance because it's involved in drug metabolism, and it's involved in the metabolism of drugs and exogenous compounds. So I just happened to write a piece on this as well. As David Alan Grier used to say on A Living Color, I wrote a song about it. If you'd like to hear it, here it goes. So if anyone wants to read about drug metabolism and absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion, I wrote this. Again, I wrote this to be understandable by the general public. I probably have to go back and take a look at it and maybe make some adjustments, but that's there. And the link is here, and this is below in the description box. Okay. So as a pharmacologist, toxicologist, the liver is of particular importance to us because it's involved in the metabolism, and clearance of drugs. Shonda knows this. One of the things that doctors and nurses and pharmacists have to gauge with patients is their liver and kidney function, because those two organs are going to dictate how long a given molecule stays in circulation. So the liver is involved in the metabolism of drugs. Now, it does a ton of other things as well. Your liver stores glycogen, which is a source of sugar that your brain uses at nighttime while you sleep, because you're not consuming food while you sleep. The liver synthesizes endogenous cholesterol that's used. Cholesterol is the backbone for many of our hormones. The liver generates our clotting factors. So if you cut yourself, those clotting factors are necessary for your cut to kind of, assuming it's not a deep cut that needs stitches, those clotting factors allow your cuts to close and start to heal themselves. The liver, there's crosstalk between the liver and the kidneys for the circulatory volume. So water retention and how much water to retain or release. There's crosstalk between your liver and your kidneys. So in other words, if your liver goes, you're in trouble. So that's why a disease like hepatitis is important. That's why we should be aware of this. So this article reads as follows. CDC investigating 109 cases of severe hepatitis in kids across 24 states, including 5 deaths. So the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is investigating 109 cases of severe hepatitis in children, including 5 deaths, to determine a cause with adenovirus infection as a primary line of inquiry, the public health agency said Friday. This was dated yesterday, May 6th. For more than 90% of children were hospitalized and 14% required liver transplants, according to the CDC. The cases under investigation occurred over the past 7 months across 25 states and territories. A majority of the patients have fully recovered and have been discharged from the hospital, according to the CDC. Hepatitis is an inflammation of the liver that is often caused by viral infections, but environmental factors can also play a role. It is not uncommon in children, but usually isn't severe. More than half of the kids had confirmed adenovirus infection. However, CDC officials said they don't know yet if adenovirus is the actual cause. Adenovirus is a common virus that normally causes mild cold or flu-like symptoms or stomach and intestinal problems. It is not a known cause of severe hepatitis in otherwise healthy children, though it has been linked to the illness in kids with weak immune systems. We also don't know yet what role other factors may play, such as environmental exposures, medications, or other infections that the children might have. Dr. Jay Butler, a deputy director for infectious disease at the CDC, told reporters on a call Friday. C19 immunization is not the cause of the illness, Butler said. The children had a median age of 2 years, which means most of them were not eligible to receive the immunization. The CDC is still investigating whether there's any association with the C19 virus, Butler said. However, the initial 9 cases in Alabama of children with severe hepatitis did not have C19. Hepatitis viruses A, B, C, D, and E have not been found in the kids during initial investigations, according to CDC. The U.S. has not seen an uptick in adenovirus infections based on the data available, Butler said. However, Dr. Umesh Parashar, a CDC official, said the U.S. does not have a good national system for conducting surveillance of the virus. Butler said the CDC is working to improve its surveillance. Okay, we're almost done here. The CDC has also not documented a significant increase in hepatitis cases in kids or liver transplants, but that's based on preliminary data and could change according to Butler. However, the UK, which first alerted the world due to the issue, has documented a significant increase, he said. We know this update may be of concern, especially to parents and guardians of young children. It's important to remember that severe hepatitis in children is rare. Parents should take the standard precautions for preventing viral infections, including hand washing, covering coughs and sneezes, not touching the eyes, nose, or mouth, and avoiding people who are sick, he said. Okay, we're at the end here. The symptoms of hepatitis include vomiting, dark urine, light-colored stool, and yellowing of the skin. That's probably due to jaundice. Parents should contact their health providers with any concerns, Butler said. The CDC issued a nationwide health alert in late April about a cluster of severe hepatitis cases among 9 children in Alabama. The WHO is also closely monitoring the situation, and has identified cases of severe hepatitis and with unknown cause among children in at least 11 countries. The CDC is investigating cases in Alabama, Arizona, California, Colorado, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, North Carolina, North Dakota, Nebraska, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Puerto Rico, Tennessee, Texas, Washington, and Wisconsin. Okay, so that's that. I think that gave good summary information of what hepatitis is. Let me take a quick look at this other publication here. I see 10 people are still watching. Thank you for still being here. If anyone wants to come up and say something, if anyone wants to come up and give some sort of reaction to what I've talked about, the StreamYard link is there. If not, I will, of course, wind the stream down. But let me take a quick look at this sheet here. Okay. I'm going to read this verbiage here from Healthline regarding what hepatitis is. I don't intend to read the entire page. Good morning, Corrine, not Karen. Corrine, I did go see Doctor Strange. Unfortunately, I did doze right in the middle where they went to the other world. So I missed a key part of the movie where they went to the other world. They went to the other universe. So I don't know how they got to the other universe. So I have to go back and see it again. So I saw the beginning, dozed off kind of in the middle, and watched the ending where he got the eyeball on his forehead. Anyway, everyone, the StreamYard link is there if anyone wants to come up and react or give your own thoughts to anything I read or said regarding the C19 or the Red Bull and Mr. Samuel's passing or hepatitis. That's there. The StreamYard link is there. So what is hepatitis? Hepatitis refers to an inflammatory condition of the liver. It is commonly the result of a viral infection, but there are other possible causes of hepatitis. These include autoimmune hepatitis and hepatitis that occurs as a secondary result of medications, drugs, toxins, and alcohol. Autoimmune hepatitis is a disease that occurs when your body makes antibodies against your liver tissue. The 5 main viral classifications of hepatitis are hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E. A different virus is responsible for each type of viral hepatitis. The World Health Organization estimates that 354 million people currently live with chronic hepatitis B and C globally. These are short, so I'll read through each of these 5 forms of the virus. And afterwards, if no one comes up, I'll shut the stream down. If you have any comments or questions, if you don't want to come up and you have comments and questions there in the chat, please leave those and I'll read those before we finish up here. Hepatitis A is the result of an infection with a hepatitis A virus. This type of hepatitis is an acute short-term disease. Hepatitis B. The hepatitis B virus causes hepatitis B. This is often an ongoing chronic condition. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that around 826,000 people are living with chronic hepatitis B in the United States and around 257 million people worldwide. Okay. So I'm not an expert on immunology and virology myself, so I'm learning as I'm reading this as well. So we're all learning together here. Shonda says, chronic hepatitis C is the most common cause for hepatic carcinoma. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Speaking of which, hepatitis C comes from the hepatitis C virus. HCV is among the most common blood-borne viral infections in the United States and typically presents as a long-term condition. According to the CDC, approximately 2.4 million Americans are currently living with a chronic form of this infection. Yeah, and what you, based upon what Shonda said, you would need some sort of long-term, at least in terms of chemicals and drugs, you typically need a long-term exposure for carcinogenesis. So it makes sense that if this is a chronic disease state, that it could lead to some form of carcinogenesis. Hepatitis D. This is a rare form of hepatitis that only occurs in conjunction with hepatitis B infection. The hepatitis D virus causes liver inflammation like other strains, but a person cannot contract HDV without an existing hepatitis B infection. Globally, HDV affects almost 5% of people with chronic hepatitis B. And then finally, hepatitis E is a waterborne disease that results from exposure to the hepatitis E virus. Hepatitis E is mainly found in areas with poor sanitation and typically results from ingesting fecal matter that contaminates the water supply. I didn't know that. The disease is uncommon in the United States, according to the CDC, because we have modern infrastructure here. Hepatitis E is usually acute, but can be particularly dangerous in pregnant women. Okay. All this link is below in the description box. Perhaps I will revisit this in a stream of its own, as it is its own disease state. So, but that's a brief introduction to hepatitis. Someone asked me about this about 2 weeks ago, so I wanted to do something on it. Okay, before I wrap up, well, the StreamYard link was there. I'll drop it one more time. If no one wants to come up, then I'll shut down. Does anyone have any more questions or comments about anything I've talked about here today, whether it involved the world event or potential reasons why the image guy passed away? Was it the Red Bull? Was it something else? Or this characterization that I just read regarding hepatitis? Are there any questions or comments before I shut down? Salchi says, a visit to your local water treatment plant is enlightening. Well, yeah, Salchi, just drive by one and you get a nice whiff of what's in the water. So, I mean, people, I'm sure people couldn't imagine picking up trash every day, but I couldn't imagine working in a water treatment plant. What's going on, Kareen, not Karen?
Yeah, I caught some of your. Can you hear me?
I can
Sorry,
hear you.
can you hear me well?
Yes,
Okay,
loud and
yeah, it's
clear.
raining. It's raining crazy here. I don't know what's going on with this weather.
Yeah, it's raining
It's
here in
supposed
DC too.
it's supposed to be April showers, May flowers, but it seems like it's been May showers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but anyway, about the hepatitis thing, I heard that they do have some type of treatments. Are there especially for the non the ones that people get like from cooking or from trash or whatever, don't they have some type of not treatment, what is a cure for it? Is that true?
Okay, you know what, Kareen, that's a good question. I think at the bottom there is a paragraph on that. Let me just read this really quickly. Common symptoms of hepatitis. If you are living with a chronic form of hepatitis like B and C, you may not show symptoms until the damage affects liver function. By contrast, people with acute hepatitis may present with symptoms shortly after contracting a hepatitis virus. Common symptoms of infectious hepatitis include fatigue, flu-like symptoms, dark urine, pale stool, abdominal pain, a loss of appetite, unexplained weight loss, yellow skin and eyes, again, which may be signs of jaundice. Let's see. I thought I saw a treatment down here. Here we go. How hepatitis is treated. Treatment options will vary by the type of hepatitis you have and whether the infection is acute or chronic. Which one did you ask about, Kareem?
Yes, sorry, I didn't even realize there was so many different hepatitis. I always just thought it was one. So you're definitely enlightening me in all these different types. But I thought the one about the one you get from like garbage, or for instance, a lady that just died, the rock, not the country singer. She was years ago. She said she had hepatitis from work. She got caught from a syringe, and she just passed away. She was a singer.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was just one thing that was hepatitis. I didn't know that there were so many different ones.
You know what, Kareem? Yeah, as I stated, I'm not from the virology world, so I didn't
Oh,
know that there were 5 of them myself. But it
wow.
turns out that there are.
Well, yeah, is in the news that she just passed away. They didn't say she died of hepatitis, but she said she had it. Back in I think back in the 2000s, she was a singer. She retired from singing because she got hepatitis when she was a nurse. But like I said, I thought they had a cure for it. I thought I would see ads on the TV about curing it. So I didn't even know it was such a big. Yes, her Naomi Judd. Sorry, thank you, AB. Yes, Naomi Judd had it. So I thought they cured it because I would see ads on the TV saying that they have medicines for it now. So I didn't even know it was a big problem until you brought it up.
Wait a minute. Is this the Naomi Judd I'm thinking about? Let me check on my phone. Yeah, that's her. That's the one who showed out at the I think after President Trump was elected, they had the march here, the Women's March, and she got up on stage, read her poem, said, "I'm a nasty woman."
Was it her for
That
real?
was her. That was her.
No, wait. It's three of them. The mother was the nurse. I think it was the mother that had the hepatitis. So I don't
Okay.
think it was her. I think she's a crazy activist. I think the daughter, the one that she's an
So
activist, the crazy one. There's a daughter that's crazy. I'm sorry.
Ashley Judd.
Ashley Judd is crazy.
Oh, she's the
Naomi
okay.
is
She's the one who went
is
to
the mother. Yeah. So
Okay.
funny. That's funny.
Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with Coach Greg Adams, but he kind of he looped a bunch of those together, and he put that one at the beginning. And that was makes me laugh every time I see it.
She's a nasty woman.
Yep. I am a nasty woman. Anyway, so Corinne, did you have anything else?
No, no, I just wanted, yeah, I just thought they were a cure, but I mean, and like I said, you enlightened me because I didn't know there was so many.
Yep.
I just thought it was a you just hepatitis, one thing. Because one thing too, I want people to be aware of, especially here in New York City, they had like a big hepatitis, maybe it was A or C outbreak with females getting their nails done in the salons. Yes, it was like a big thing in New York City because I guess they weren't clean. And so just be aware of that when you go to nail salons, because remember sometimes they're cutting your cuticles, you're exposed, so just be careful. I mean, I know you don't have a lot of female listeners, but I know some men do go get their pedicures and manicures. So for the men too, when you're going to salons, just be careful because you could get hepatitis from that as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I appreciate that, Corinne. Do Do you have any thoughts on what may have caused Kevin's death? So the Red Bull or
Oh my God,
testosterone.
you see, I reached out to you because I didn't believe anything online. You know how I am. I didn't believe anything. I don't know. Because there's so many rumors. First of all, I think people are so disgusted. It was an escort. Now we're finding out it was his companion, his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs to just we need to wait. That you're into pharmacology, so when you get the toxicology report, you will know what the substances may cause it. They have to do a what is it called when they examine you when you die?
Autopsy.
Yes, when they do the autopsy, it will be public, right? Will that
Yeah.
be public? So we will know. Like I don't like people making assumptions. Just because you're healthy, anybody could die. There's people that are 30-year-olds getting heart attack. Let's just be a little bit more compassion and stop bringing up making everything so incendiary, making it escort and fentanyl, all kind of rumors I'm hearing. I think people are just disgusting. Let's just wait. Let's just be quiet and wait and we'll know. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace, Mr. Samuels. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, if you don't have anything else, Corinne, I think I'll go ahead and wind this down. We have to talk about Doctor Strange at some point, but
Oh yes,
as
I
described,
definitely.
I need to go see it again.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about it. I didn't want to bring it up, to be just, to keep on topic, but we
Yeah.
definitely need to talk about it. It's just, ah, we definitely need to talk about it.
Okay. All right, Corinne. Well, we'll be in touch, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thank you. Good night. Goodbye.
All right. All right, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. I just wanted to come and do a stream. I'm trying to be regular here at the channel. I want to do something every week, get the watch hours up. I'm beyond 1,000 subs, but I want to see if I can get the AdSense at some point. But science is it's a tricky topic. It's not as exciting as celebrity gossip and um, celebrity beefs and uh, Will Smith slapping people. And science is its own unique world and its own unique niche. But someone has to do it. So one of those people is me. So every link that I showed during the stream is in the description box below. If you haven't, please consider joining the Big Words LLC newsletter. This link is below in the description box. There it is. And there's a greeting, and then the subscription button is there at the bottom, right? So, and if you want to donate something to the channel, that information is below as well, in the form of my PayPal and Cash App. I want to thank Aquateki once again for the donation. So that's all I've got, folks. So I've got some tech content that I think next week I'll probably do a stream on, because I know the tech content is very, very popular. So machine learning, cloud storage and recovery, those kinds of things. So everyone, and thank you for those of you who came through and hung out, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll talk to you the next time. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.